All right.
You're good to go.
Okay. So first up, sorry, I'm not prepared because I didn't know I was going to lead this until like later. So, but I do want to kind of see like how did it go with you guys doing the social media challenge? If you'd participated in that.
Is that the one where you're supposed to post something on social media and then screenshot it? Yeah. I thought it was so funny that we're challenged to take a 10-day fast, and then that's our assignment this week. I was like, this is like the first time I've ever like, I'm really going to do that challenge, and I'm going to do it real. I had my brother lock me out of all of my social medias. He has my password. I mean, I probably could have blogged something. I don't really have a blog. So I was like, I'm just going to have to get a lower grade this week because I don't want to be tempted to get back on it. So, yeah, I didn't do it.
For me personally, I've been actually on a Facebook fast for about a month now for some personal reasons. And I took a post that I posted years ago, and I'm like, okay, due to certain reasons, I'm not doing this. I'm not participating in this. But here's something I have posted in the past as an uplifting thought.
Smart. I'm locked out, so I can't even go back and look at my post.
Well, I'm just like, when he announced it, I'm like, yes, something I'm already doing great at.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Awesome. Good for you.
I didn't do it.
You didn't do it? I think it was an optional thing anyways. I don't quite remember. I'm like, I'm just going to do it just in case, but mention the reasons why it's a post.
Yeah. Hopefully we get some leeway.
I did think that. I thought that was
pretty sure
that we were given. It was all in the same week. So like I've been trying not to be on Facebook because I haven't like completely left it or anything, but I've been trying just not to be on as much or whatever. So I actually just put a picture on like Pinterest. I like just did it that way. I was like, oh, whatever. I'm just gonna make it work.
Yeah.
So hopefully that counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
She did say Pinterest.
What?
She did say Pinterest, so.
She did, yeah.
She did say Pinterest, yeah.
It's like any social media, I think. Like send an email to someone even. I know I probably could have done something.
No.
I'm using my excuse hard this week.
That's all our homework.
I mean,
no,
I haven't Pinterest, but I don't know how to post things, and I didn't know if I was to post something original or just pick something off of Pinterest. So I'm like, I'm just going to do an old post.
Yeah, smart.
Anybody else do that project?
Yeah, I posted one of my missionary son, a picture of him eating dinner with a bunch of missionaries and a member.
Well, that's kind of awesome. Everybody wants to see that. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, I just briefly stated that it's my joy right now, having my son serving a mission.
Where is he serving?
In Louisiana.
Oh, cool. Where in Louisiana?
I forgot where he just moved, but he's been in Morgan City and what was the other place? Berwick. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
How long has he been gone?
This October has been 1 year.
Yay, halfway.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
And where are you located, Amanda?
Oh, I'm in Watsonville, California.
Okay, gotcha. You sure left halfway.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing to be happy
Okay,
about.
guys, I have to shout out about conference. I live 20 minutes away from Yuba City, California. And right now, our closest temple is the Sacramento temple, and it's like 2 hours away. So I am stoked that we are like finally getting a temple close to us.
Oh, that's right.
That's so
I cried when he said that, and I was like, my husband, he works nights, so he was actually sleeping all day, and I ran to the room. I didn't even care that I woke him up, and I said, Yuba City, and he was like, what? We're getting a temple. He was like, no, we're not. I had to go back and rewind it, and I'm like, why am I crying right now? So I just had to say that. I'm so excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was surprised too, and when they said Yuba City, I was like, really?
Yeah. How close to Yuba City are you?
Well, I'm like 2.5 hours away from Sacramento. So
Are you
Oakland,
south? Oakland, your
yes.
temple.
Yeah, but that one's in remodeling, so.
Right, so Sac's your temple right now.
Oh, actually, it's Fresno, but Fresno
wow.
is actually closed for the week as well, so I'm actually going to go on Saturday to
Cool.
Sacramento.
Nice.
This conference weekend, I was actually tempted to get back onto social media just because. So I haven't deleted anything because I have too many friends from out of the country
Yeah.
that I keep in contact through. But I was so tempted to just see all the conference memes and all that stuff.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Yeah. All right. So let's ask one of the first questions. Why have we witnessed such an acceleration in technology in these last days, and why do you think the Lord might be behind it?
I'll go first. I think that, I think the ways are changing. Like, I know one of the questions on what we had to study before the group was what's been the best, like, technological advancement. And I seriously think it's the internet. And I think it's, like, having it at our fingertips because, like, people back in the olden days could not like FaceTime each other or like send an instant I'm pregnant like quickly. Like it used to be through like snail mail or I'm just like amazed how quickly we can send out just the technology and how instant we can find things out. And so I think that's the new way. And so I think that it's the most effective way to do missionary work. And I think that's why the Lord's behind it. I think that's why missionaries are now allowed to be on social media and to kind of spread the word through that way. So I guess hope I answered the question.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I mean, in fact, most missionaries now, especially if you're stateside, are encouraged to get on social media at least once a day to like post some quote, like some scriptures or quotes, add their investigators on there, just kind of like do that. And sometimes they even like make contact with their investigators through social media to see how they're doing, check up on them, see if there's any appointments they want to add and stuff.
I think it's interesting too because I have had this conversation with my mom a couple times that we live in such an interesting time, kind of like what Hannah was saying. And I think when the Savior comes again, like the way that that's going to be communicated is different than what anyone has ever imagined because we have social media. Like imagine how quickly that news would be heard. I mean, that'd be like instant. Like it'd be so fast. So I think it's going to like technology is shaping like the future and like how the cycle will come about and stuff. And I also think it's a good source of kind of being like peculiar and being different, set apart from the world. The way that we use it will be known, whether it's for good or for bad, but the way that we use it will be a tool, kind of like we said before, for missionary work. So yeah.
And I mean, like, conference hasn't even finished, like the first session hadn't even finished, there was already like inspirational quotes and some funny things like the 2-hour church announcement and funny quotes about that. But there was also like quotes that you heard in conference, inspirational ones posted before the conference session even ended. You didn't even have to wait to hear the words again.
Sorry, I'm typing, trying to listen to you guys. But I agree with what you guys said about how we know the Lord's behind it, because it, like you guys said, it's like the best way to share the gospel these days, because like it's just instant. We can just put it out there and anybody can see it. People can share it.
I was going to mention really quick, I was kind of bummed in a way that the missionaries were going to have the access to, technology and, and wanting to be on it, because my son had an issue with, just wasting time watching dumb stuff on his phone. So I was like, I was glad when he was leaving. I was thinking, oh, well, he's not going to have that issue anymore. But then they just came out. I was like, okay, well, then at least hopefully he's going to be using it wisely, like Elder Bednar says. Mm-hmm. Using it as a servant.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things is like they put this on a trial run, and yeah, people misused it. People have misused it and will misuse it. But it did majority good than bad things using technology, because we do live in a world where technology is huge. Everybody's on technology. Everybody's on social media. It's a way to connect. Like I said, I have friends all over the world. I had a best friend who used to live in the Philippines, and we'd contact through Facebook all the time. I have friends in Australia, Korea, Tonga, Fiji, friends all over the world, and we can connect and share anything that we want, and you can use it as a spiritual thing, but it can also be used in a negative way.
I agree. When I was actually starting my mission and stuff, I just thought about I left when they brought the iPads the next what is it called? Oh my gosh, it's been a while. Transfer. The next transfer. And I was just thinking about the positives of the internet. When you're a missionary, you're definitely very close to the Lord. And then with sharing like your testimonies and just thoughts about the gospel and social media, like you can definitely feel that missionary is like, wow, like you just know, you feel the spirit right away when you read their posts, because it's just so strong. And I feel like the Lord has given us the opportunity for missionaries to have that, because it's an easier way to share with their friends. That way, that when they get back home, they're like, what was up with your life? And then they will realize like you were actually doing a good cause, and how proud I am to be your friend. And definitely social media has its positives, negatives too, but I feel like if we use that the right way, I know the church is always motivating us to spread the gospel at all times. So I'm actually wondering what a Facebook fast was, but now I realize that it's mostly for us to be able to spend time with our families and the Lord, and then seeing our own testimonies about sacrificing such thing. So,
and then like with this Facebook fast, I think it is just giving us a chance to kind of give, because yes, it can be good, but it gets you so much now. He wants us to take time to actually get closer to the Lord before we start doing these posts and stuff. And another thing, so Bednar, like his whole talk was about how to use social media in a good way to reach out to others. But the other video that we watched with, which is not church related, was through social media they were able to find people to donate blood, or find bone marrow people to donate, or just different ways to donate. I've actually witnessed that in my own life. We had neighbors. I was friends with the oldest daughter. Their youngest child got leukemia, and they needed, they put up a GoFundMe to earn money to pay for the leukemia treatments. and she's a big Taylor Swift fan, big Taylor Swift. And because of the leukemia, she had already gotten tickets, but she was no longer able to make it to the concert. So they posted a video of her saying, like, you know what? And she uses the song Bad Blood as her anthem. Taylor Swift was able to find out, and she not only got her access to a digital, like being in concert through digital means, she got to meet Taylor Swift, but Taylor Swift also donated $30,000 to help with her leukemia treatment, all through social media.
That's pretty cool, and it makes me think like a GoFundMe page. I don't know if anyone else read all about the micro and macro advocating. Sounds like that was kind of a macro to get like the celebrity like to help out with that and awareness of leukemia. I feel like maybe I don't know, like 15 years ago, maybe when I was like a tween, and I would hear the word leukemia, but I don't think I ever truly knew what it was. And I truly learned the best through social media stuff. Like, I mean, if it's looking sketchy, I definitely double check. But like, I think I have learned so much, and just like I've seen the struggle. I can see it. Like, I really do love when people share that kind of stuff and are looking for help, because it shows how hard their life is. And it's like, I don't know. I just think that even in high school, I didn't have that. You know, I didn't really truly know what people would go through. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a mom now or something, and I just I can't imagine. But, I just think it's really cool. It's a really cool story and amazing.
Yeah. And when they started that, the whole reason they kind of reached out with that is they wanted Taylor Swift to post just kind of an awareness. And ever since that, they have their own forms that they set up drives or different ways to earn money to help other kids fight leukemia. So, and how they get the word out is social media. So social media can do a lot of good when it comes to religion and just in day-to-day life for people who are struggling and just need assistance.
Just relating to that article that we read, the dragonfly effect, I think it was interesting how like their acts of kindness were like what was that, how do you say it? It was like paid forward. Is that the right terminology? Because like later on at the end, it was explaining how another girl who helped out got to be like the bone marrow donor, right? Afterwards, like at the end. So it's kind of like this, like maybe, I mean, I'm sure that realistically, the two guys mentioned who were sick, I'm sure they like realistically had a come to Jesus moment where they were like, okay, this might really take my life, but we're trying everything we can, you know, but we're going to do something to inspire people in the future. And I think that's kind of like how we work too, like we can relate that to President Bednar's devotional or talk or whatever it was. But we can also like relate that to the gospel too, you know, like we're doing things, maybe like missionary work, like how missionaries go out and teach and stuff. They don't always get the baptism. It doesn't always work out, but sometimes they plant seeds for other people in the future to go and find that person that maybe they made that connection with, or for somebody else to make a connection. Maybe it's not about them at all, or about who they found at all. But there's always, I feel like that's how like the gospel works. It works in the same way where we're always like paying it forward. So that was just one part that I liked that stood out to me.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else have any other thoughts? All right, move to the next one. I was looking through all the questions to see which one to use, and we've been talking about most of the questions. They all relate to each other, but here's one that really wasn't talked about a total ton. What might your day-to-day behavior with technology tell others about how you really feel about the purpose and blessing of technology?
But I'll go ahead and take. I love the fact that you still stay in contact with family and friends. So it's just I like it because you see you still see other people's kids grow, and you still see their lives. How they're doing. You can stay in touch. It's still a family oriented, you could say. Mm-hmm.
Well, so at one point, one of the reasons I went on a Facebook fast or social media fast, besides a few ones for own reasons, I was on Facebook a lot. Like when I needed a break from studying, I was on Facebook to see what other people had posted. And sometimes it was fun stuff, some things I liked, and other times it just made me mad. Sorry, my phone keeps ringing, and I have my Zoom on my phone. But one of the things I noticed is I was stuck in it. And now with it, I don't use my phone as often. I don't always substitute with the best things in the world, but when I do, it's mostly playing games to kind of help me, more like mind games, help me to calm my mind down, because my mind gets overworked to that. Because working long days, and then school and trying to get everything ready for graduation and plans for the future is a little bit hard. But I think one of the things that I wish I did better was used it more for church needs, because we have, like, at the touch of our finger, we have access to all these church newses. We can watch conference from our phones even days later. And I think one of the things, sorry, my mind is processing this while trying to speak at the same time. One of my things with my day-to-day behavior is that technology can be a way of coping through different things in your life. Like the biggest thing, when I'm driving, I turn on music. I always turn on music, and it's calming to me. It helps me basically be able to get through the day, even when it's really stressful, even when I have a bad day. The best thing for me to do is turn on one band in particular and just kind of listen to the words or listen to the music, and it helps me feel better.
I like that because I listen to music all the time too. It's quiet right now because I'm on here, but like music is going on seriously in my house all day. But I also like what was mentioned earlier. I mostly use social media and technology either like for music or, like you said, entertainment. Like when I need a break in my day, just like scrolling helps. I don't know. It's like mind numbing, I guess, but it just helps me calm down and just take a break from something that I need a break from. And then also just using it to stay in touch, like what was mentioned earlier, with family, being able to see people that you used to be close to, seeing how they're doing, it's always fun.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I did like when I did have social media. So it, like, there's a lot of things that technology can do for us, whether it's keeping in touch or providing games or updates on people who you haven't seen in a while. My biggest thing right now, if I don't want to, like, yes, I always have music playing. Sometimes it's on YouTube. Sometimes it's through my own music. When I'm doing it through my own music, one of my favorite things to do is I like to scroll through Pinterest because I cut out most other social medias. I scroll through Pinterest to find quotes because one of the things I've been working on is a inspirational quote journal, which is just it's full of a bunch of quotes that explain what things I've been going through, things that have made me laugh. So there's some funny quotes in there. There's some really good inspirational quotes. And a lot of it's taken from music, movies, TV shows, just anything that's ever made me feel good or feel like I'm not alone.
Okay, I'm going to share that I don't like getting on technology. Well, first of all, I don't have a whole lot of time, so because I work full time and then I'm taking my classes online part time, so I really don't have much of free time. But aside from that, I'm like to keep my life personal because I know people watch me. I've just seen it, from experience that people do watch what I do. And it's funny how my patriarchal blessing also states that my family, because I'm the only member in my family, for my siblings and my parents, it's just me and my son. And it states about how they just watch for me to fail. So I know I'm being watched. But anyways, so I don't really like technology in that sense because if I post things pertaining to my family, it's not really personal. I'd rather have my, life personal. But I'm sensing now with this class that apparently, I have to throw myself out there, which I don't want to do. But in a sense, I understand that I have to, because we have to share the gospel with everyone. So,
I mean,
can I comment to that? Sorry,
yeah,
yeah.
Jumped in, and so I don't know if I heard the question, but just to comment on Teresa's what she just said, I think I totally understand. It's hard, but I think even if you do make mistakes, like for your family to be able to connect with you, just like human to human, we all make mistakes, whether we're members or not. So maybe it's a good thing that they see that you can, make a mistake, but you're not like holier than thou about it. You just keep going and try your best.
No, I know, but my family's very, they're very they criticize a lot. So
yeah, it's hard.
And I try to explain that to him, that I'm human just like them, but they want to give me that, oh well, you're so perfect. And I think that the problem is that since they see that I'm trying to live my life for the better, and they're not really trying, so they see me as perfect.
Right. Every situation is different, so yeah, you just have to judge it.
I think that's just it. But
I'll chime in if you guys don't mind, but what to say, because the whole reason the 10-day fasting was like so at me that I needed to do it is I do a lot of mindless scrolling, like to the point where it's times when I can really be spending time with my kids, and I just like choose to sit there instead and just look at my phone. So for me personally, that's why I did the fast. But anytime I would post, which is kind of a lot, I would always make sure to have it be something either funny, like something to make someone smile. So like my kids are always involved Or I always made sure, like, even if it was a hard thing I'd gone through or something, like, explain the blessing in it. And I always, in my post, like, if I did explain a blessing or got pretty churchy with it, I would just talk like everyone knew who I was talking about. Instead of saying, like, I know Heavenly Father, blessed me, it would be like, I believe in a Heavenly Father, and I knew He blessed me. It was just more of like, Heavenly Father blessed me today, and it's like I've always felt really like inspired that that's how I should make it sound, like really make it sound like I know a God, and I know that anyway, kind of more of a testimony way of it. And I've had many people private message me, and I've had the coolest missionary experiences through that. Like, I know more about like what you believe, and so like I love social media for that. So, like, I try really hard to not be negative. You share a lot, but I try to make it inspiring and happy, and just want people to enjoy what I might have posted. So I guess that's I hope I kind of answered that question of, yeah, others about how you really feel about the purpose of blessing of technology. So, yeah.
When I did post, because I didn't, I hardly would post anything of my family, mostly of my son, but when I would post things, it would be something inspirational as well, like positive quotes, or even if not even churchy, like you say, gospel related. There was just lots of information out there, new inventions that, good things, health wise, or just to make life easier. I would post, and I'd see quite a few people respond, oh, hey, yeah, I like it too. That's a good idea, just inventions, just things that could help us. Instead of posting what I cooked, I would post good recipes.
I like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have me as a friend, Landa. Do it.
Got me. I had everybody pretty much.
And I do think that social media can be a good way to express feelings and share the gospel or share cause and stuff. I don't want to go into a ton of detail, but I had something happen where social media actually gave me a lot of anxiety and depression. And so that's why I've kind of cut it out of my life. And so when that kind of situation happens, there's other ways that you can in person share your things. You can stand up for what you believed. I haven't, and it is a good way to keep in touch of things. And sometimes it's nice to hear inspirational things, but when in certain situations, it can be more damaging than good. But I do know that having the technology is a fast way to share the gospel or share thoughts, or like we're doing, advocating for the family. And I think it's all about using it the right way and learning how to use it correctly, where you get the benefits and you're using good, and you don't start focusing on like the mindless scrolling, which is time you could spend with other people, or get into the negativity of those things that you post or that other people post. And so I think there's a lot of good and a lot of bad that comes from social media.
Mm-hmm.
Just off of what you're saying, and just I think it's important to also be like realistic. And it's easy to like go on Instagram or go on Facebook and see people living their best lives, but we only see whatever they put out and whatever they show us, And so we all have dirty laundry. I think we're all in this group specifically, we're all pretty like level-headed, pretty down to earth. But like, you're always gonna put, I don't know, like I feel like people are more drawn to like put their best vacation. They're not gonna put like oh my gosh, we lost our bags and it was a terrible day. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to put that. They're going to put their picture on the beach and their life looks so easy. And so I think that's the hard part, and that's where we get caught up, is when we lose ourselves in other people's like fantasy world. And you have to be careful with that, because it does like cause one to become a little envious, which I know I've personally felt. And also, I think something that's harmful too with social media, and I've worked really hard like this past year to realize if I'm doing this, and also like acknowledge it if I see it, if that makes sense. But is to look at how people respond to other people's like posts, or how they live their lives, or their accounts, or their pictures, and what kind of content people are showing the world. And I think that was kind of like the question, is like, how do you represent yourself? I don't remember the exact question, something like that. And I mean, I see a lot of, especially in like the LDS community, there's a lot of like mommy bloggers. That is like the thing right now. And it's hard. It's a little like hard to see like people, like one picture and 10,000 likes and 1,000 comments of everyone saying, wow, you're so perfect. Wow, your life is so great. Wow, your goals, your husband's so cute, whatever. It's just like ongoing, you know what I mean? And you're always going to feel inadequate if you look at somebody else's life like that. Like, it's not real. Because in real life, if I saw that person, I probably wouldn't say that to their face. You know, even though if I'm thinking, wow, her life looks so perfect, I probably wouldn't say that. You know, it's weird. It's insincere. Like, if I came up and was like, I don't know, wow, Hannah, your life is so perfect, it just doesn't sound the same coming off on like Instagram. So I think you just have to be real with your intentions, and kind of like what everyone else is saying is just focus on the positive, and also maybe not overshare. Like, I think that's like what Teresa said. Don't overshare, and you don't always need to share anything. I agree. We don't always have to be like eager to share every detail, you know? There is a sacredness that we keep when we don't share. So that's just an idea.
I agree with that. Like, there are sometimes I think people share too much, or and like, yeah, sometimes like people just post the positive stuff, but then I also, at least in my Facebook feed, I'd get a lot of people posting negative thing, especially when it came to politics stuff, or the whole issue with police, or all this. Ever since Trump got elected president, I've gotten a lot of things on my Facebook about politics stuff, and so it also breeds that, and sometimes that can breed people to anger. So yeah, so it's like you're seeing two different sides. You'll see like the, oh, my life's so perfect, even though we all know you have some stuff that you're not sharing. And then you also get those that are very just negative about the world, negative, and all they do is post negative things.
To mention, I have two female cousins that are sisters, and they love to post selfies all day long. But so I don't ever really comment on selfies. The only times I really comment on their photos is when they post of their families with their children. So I'll comment, say, "How what a beautiful picture," you know. So I try to stay away from certain ones, of course.
Right. Any other thoughts? All right, so we'll move on to the next one. So this one is going back to the two videos with Elder Bednar and then the Wings of the Dragonfly. Were there any questions you had about those videos? Just to see if everybody's on the same page before asking this question. All right. So the question is, do you agree or disagree with the arguments made in Elder Bednar's Principles and the Four Wings of the Dragonfly? go first, I guess. I agree with it. I think it, at the same time, it's a case by case scenario. Like, not everybody's going to have same situations. Not everybody's going to have the same opportunities, and not everybody is social media. And so I think it all depends on what you can do, and I think it can do great things. I think it can do great blessings. But you also have to prepare yourself for a storm. When Elder Bednar gave that, maybe it wasn't that talk, but he gave a talk one time to the youth about social media and posting something, and my brother did. Well, not all my dad's family is LDS. In fact, a lot of them are very anti. When he posted that, we got a post from my aunt, I think she is. I don't know who she is. I just know she's related to me somehow. Posted things that were very negative and told my brother he was going to hell for his post. And so, like, it's kind of something that, like, yeah, you will get negative input, but you'll also get positive input as well. And I think it's up to you to judge when it's the right time or what it's the right thing to say.
I'll go ahead. I know one thing that I really liked about the dragonfly thing that I agreed with, and I think went along with what Elder Bednar was saying, was it did say something like when like you focus on others, then rather than yourself, then that will bring like true happiness or make happiness possible. And I don't know. I don't know if I want to try and keep that in mind. Like, when I post, am I going to make others? Is this going to serve others somehow? And so I think they correlated in that way. It's just about service and being Christ-like, and I was happy to see that in the dragonfly effect. I don't think it was a member that wrote that book, but yeah, I liked that. When you do focus on others, you feel better about yourself and happier.
I like that. And I like that in the dragonfly thing, I think it mentioned how a lot of people thought that buying things for themselves would make them happy, but it was found out that actually, like, buying things for others makes you way happier. Not that that's the only way, to serve others, but I thought that was an interesting fact.
Yeah, I think one thing that is always true is when you're serving others with an open, like a willing heart. Like, if you're just grudgingly, like, I'm doing this because somebody told me, you're not going to receive the benefits. But if you're doing it out of willingness, wanting to do it, you will see blessings. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard work. I do volunteer for a crisis hotline, and sometimes I start, like, panicking in those discussions and chats because I'm sometimes don't feel like I'm adequate enough. But at the end of the day, when I'm when I'm done with my shift and stuff, I feel so much happier. I still feel so much lighter because no matter what the outcome is, I put everything I had into trying to help these people. And it can be said for any kind of service.
I think another part that I liked from the dragonfly one is at the end it mentioned, it was like the middle one, so it was like the body article, but it mentioned that you don't need money or education or I don't know, like, to be known, to make a difference, and to go about doing good. And that's obviously, like, that's a principle of the gospel. Like, that works the same in the gospel, and we know that. Like, obviously, Joseph Smith wasn't the most educated man. He didn't know everything, but he went about doing good, and he was called to be a prophet. And I mean, there's many other examples of that too, but we can apply that to ourselves and just remember that, okay, we can feel inadequate and still go about doing good and be disciples of Christ. So I thought that was kind of interesting. That was a little correlation that I made. So I don't know.
Well, I think it was in conference. They talked about the time Jesus talked about the people who were giving tithings, giving money to the poor. And this lady who didn't have much gave in all she had, and how she was doing more for than these people who were just doing it to boast, because she was giving not just of all she had, but all of she had in her heart. It wasn't a selfish desire. It was a desire to help others and stuff. I think that was conference, or it might have been one of my readings from the week. I don't know. I have so many classes and everything kind of jumbles together.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too, that how it talks about how, if you're pretty much being like Christ, if you're helping others, you're being unselfish. And that's what it was. So, if you, and like it says, that's what makes people happy pretty much when you're serving others. And I know in my case it does. And I, even though I'm noticing it, especially in my recent job change, where every day I go out and help someone in their everyday daily living skills. And it just even if it's just small, simple things, I help people with disabilities. And so I'm like, this is what I like. I mean, it doesn't seem hard to me, but it just seems like it's a lot to them. So if it's a lot to them, it's like it's a lot to me. So that it does make me happy. And I'm only, as far as pay raise, is only like $1 more. So not money, it's about helping others.
Right. Anybody else have any other thoughts? All right, then I say we can end it if nobody else has any other thoughts. So Lauren, you took the notes, right?
Yeah.
All right, so just kind of, I guess, read through your notes just to kind of get a filter.
You guys feel free to tell me if you want me to add anything or change anything. I was trying to get it all, but okay. So the first one we talked about was, the question was, why have we witnessed such acceleration in technology in these last days, and why do you think the Lord might be behind it? So we said, the ways of society are changing. We have the internet at our fingertips. It enables us to reach out to each other instantly, as well as enabling us to reach people worldwide. It has become the most effective form of missionary work. For example, just think of the amount of people who shared quotes and news from the recent sessions of General Conference while it was being broadcasted. Technology is shaping our future and impacts how we hear about everything. We can use social media for missionary work as well as for doing good and raising awareness to help those who need it most. Our messages may end up benefiting others indirectly. And then for the next one, what might your day-to-day behavior with technology tell others about how you really feel about the purpose and blessings of technology? The day-to-day use of social media allows us to stay in touch with family and close friends. We can allow it to be family-oriented. Social media can allow us to be examples and relate to others. We can use it to share happiness and lessons. It can provide us with entertainment, especially in times when we feel like our mind just needs a break. Technology can provide coping mechanisms like music that help us get us through our day. Technology allows us to share ideas with one another and be inspired by others. Our attitude towards technology should show others that we are genuine and striving to better ourselves. And then the last point, do you agree or disagree with the arguments made? We said, we agree with the arguments made. We may receive negative input, but we need to remember people will also support us. When we focus on others, it will truly make us happier. When we are serving others willingly, we will see those blessings in our lives. Money and education are not required to make a difference and to do good. Even small and simple acts can be very meaningful to those we are serving. All right.
I think it sums it up pretty well.
Okay.
That was good.
All right. Well, everybody have a good night.
Thanks, you
Thank
too.
you. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Next week.